And on today's watch list, as we continue to commemorate Hispanic Heritage Month, we are celebrating La Bamba, which happens to be in my top 3 favorite movies of all time. This 80s biopic tells the story of Richie Valens, one of the first Latinos in rock and roll. We spoke to the writer and director about the highlights of this classic film.
The California Kid, Richie Valens!
Richie Valens, born Richard Steven Valenzuela, was an influential Chicano rock and roll star whose short but inspiring story was the subject of the 80s classic film La Bamba. It's considered one of the best biopics of all time, so we spoke to director and writer Luis Valdez to help us celebrate it.
He was like a meteor. He was a shooting star. He really opened up a whole new avenue for rock and roll to take at that time. It went global with him.
First, we showcase the work of the actor who portrayed him, LOU Diamond Phillips.
Come on, let's go!
When I saw Lou, I said, there's a possibility here. But what impressed me most was his acting ability. I loved what he did in the movie, and I still love his work.
The role was a career breakthrough for the actor. He delivered the look, but it was the band Los Lobos, led by David Hidalgo, that was behind the music.
What we got from Lou is the expression. What we got from David Hidalgo is the resonance of the heart.
The band's version of the song La Bamba reached #1 in several charts on the year of the film's release.
Their reinterpretation of Richie's music took them all the way to the top, and in doing so, they took Richie also all the way to the top.
The film was a success and defied expectations because, as the New York Times reported, what were dubbed ethnic stories at the time weren't considered box office draws.
Cool. Also, I didn't know that La Bamba as a title would sell, that Hollywood would accept it because they'd think it was a Mexican movie or a Spanish language film.
But it did, earning over $54 million off a budget of less than $6 million. Adjusted for inflation, that's over $120 million.
If the story is told well enough and there's enough truth in it, it will survive.
Because at its core, Richie's life story embodies the American dream. From his beginnings as a California farm worker to his rise in the music industry.
Come on, baby, just rock.
Look at my Richie. He's shining like a star.
And so Richie's career is the quintessential American story. It's rags to riches. And I think that it resonated with Americans and then the world at large.
We're celebrating the best of La Bamba on the watch list.
Hey!